Hello everyone, Gaming Smiley here, and still Batman Day, so another Batman film to review. Today, this one, I keep wanting to say today, but this one, reviewing Batman and Robin, which most of the problems is with the writing. There are too many fucking freeze puns. Jesus Christ. This film was released in 1997, and the last one was released in 1995. So, this film is 2 hours and 5 minutes long, and it feels so much fucking longer. I said I had to take breaks while watching forever. I'd take way more watching this. It took about maybe close to 3 hours to watch it because I just couldn't take it. I was just like, no, I'm done. So this is yet again directed by Joel Schumacher, and I'd rate this 3 very big diamonds out of 10. You'll understand why I said 3 very big diamonds out of 10 during the whole entire spoiler part. But yeah, so this time Batman's changed from Val Kilmer to George Clooney. And George Clooney has the opposite problem of Val Kilmer. He can't keep a straight face. Literally, as Bruce Wayne, he'll be smiley and happy. Fair enough, Bruce Wayne. But Batman, he'll have a fucking grin on his face all the time. The only times that he doesn't have a smile is when he doesn't, speak at all. Like when he's sat in the Batmobile, but when he's facing the villain, he's like this. It's like that. He's just got a little smile. And he just sat there like, what the fuck? So, yeah, as I said, 3 out of 10. That's the non-spoiler stuff over. I can't get through this. I'll be fair. I'll say, although the writing's pretty bad for Mr. Freeze, Arnold Schwarzenegger does a good job. Uma Thurman doesn't quite do her best. I mean, there's some parts where she kind of doesn't, she kind of, underacts or overacts sometimes. I don't know. But, Alicia Silverstone plays Batgirl. And Bane's played by Robert Swenson, who does an alright job of what he's given. I mean, he's not really given that much to say other than maybe 5 words. 5 or 6 words. But, yeah. So, let's talk spoilers and get through this quick. So, film starts with another title sequence. Like the last one, where it's long, but it's a little bit long, a little bit fast, a little bit too flashy, and a little bit too loud. I don't like it too much. And then, after this, we get another suit up, the exact same as Forever, but it takes longer because it's Batman and Robin getting changed. Chris O'Donnell still plays Robin, and he does a good job of what he's given. As I said, most of the problems with this film are bad writing. But, yeah. So it takes even longer. They both hop into a different vehicle. Batman gets into the Batmobile, and Robin gets a bike. So, and also Alfred looks like he's dying, which becomes a plot point. But so Mr. Freeze, as I said, played by Arnold Schwarzenegger, is robbing a museum for a gigantic diamond, with diamonds. And Batman and Robin are trying to stop him. They also have nips on their suits, by the way. Not Mr. Freeze. He has light up pets. But so Batman and Robin try to stop him. They have a fight. Fucking Mr. Freeze makes a bunch of ice puns and cold puns and staying chill and staying cool. It's actually making me lose my fucking cool. If you try to freeze me, I'm just gonna fucking burn it with how much it annoys me. So, anyway, this fight goes on and it ends in a chase. They have a chase. Batman and Robin. Freeze sends Batman and Robin towards space. And they get away. And Robin surfs down a building when he really should have just crashed through the roof. But the CG here doesn't look good, at all. It looks horrible. Not gonna lie, it's dreadful. Also, so they fall, they survive, Only if they wouldn't have to do that surfing stuff if, only they didn't have capes, which they do, which they could use to glide, as was shown by Val Kilmer's Batman and Michael Keaton's Batman. But yeah, it all ends with Robin getting frozen, and Mr. Freeze escapes, and Batman unfreezes him, and then they get all pissy. Batman gets all pissy with him. Anyway, off to South Africa. No, not South Africa. South America, where there are stop-motion lizards. And Pamela Isley is doing some research on mixing animal DNA with plants. And in another room, there's a mad doctor who's creating super soldiers, and he creates Bane. Pamela sees him do this, and he tries to kill her, but he ends up giving her powers, another Catwoman situation. And she kills him by a kiss, poison lips. So, and she gets Bane, and she finds out that they were actually originally funded by Bruce Wayne, even though they aren't funded anymore because Bruce realised that what the Doctor was doing was illegal and immoral, and he just didn't agree with it. So yeah, after that, we go back to Batman, Robin at the Batcave, where they discover Mr. Freeze's origin, and that he was working at Gotham University, and that he was working on a cure to a disease that's called McGregor syndrome, which is fictional, and which, of course, Nora has. And he falls into a pool of, I think, supposed to be like close to liquid nitrogen. It's minus 50 degrees Fahrenheit. So yeah. So I don't think you can get that. I think it's minus 50 degrees Celsius then, actually. So yeah, this changes him and makes him need to be in sub-zero temperatures to survive, and he needs diamonds to power his suit, and blah blah blah. So, as I said, Poison Ivy rises, kills the Doctor, and anyway, Mr. Freeze explains his evil plan in his lair, and he explains that he is planning on freezing Gotham and holding it at ransom so that he can get the billions that he needs to finish his research in order to save his wife. And I mean, not because, but a bit of a dick way to do it. But yeah, well, isn't that just essentially what a lot of villains are? It's basically, Barbara arrives in Gotham. She turns out to be not the daughter of Commissioner Gordon, but the niece of Alfred, and she has a whole entire thing about bike racing, but it doesn't matter. That plot thread doesn't matter too much. But yeah, Ivy at the observatory, basically Gotham Observatory, and Bruce Wayne has donated one of the most powerful telescopes to the observatory, and this is important for later, because this is also how Freeze plans to enact his plan. But Ivy shows up. She starts screeching at Bruce about how he doesn't do enough to save the planet, and how they should stop, having freezes and stop having heating and all this shit. And he's like, nah, as much as plants matter, people come first. And she's like, bullshit, plants are everything. She makes herself look like a fucking nutcase, because she is. And then after this, there's a party at Gotham Botanical Garden, where this is a trap, by the way. Bruce has set a trap, and Batman and Robin are there. Poison Ivy shows up. She does a little dance. There's like a woman auction going on. They're basically auctioning, having time with a certain woman. But yeah, Poison Ivy ends up making a lot of people bid for her, and Bruce and Batman and Robin start arguing about who's gonna, bid more and bid less, and There's even a bit where Batman goes, "You don't have that much," and Robin's like, "I'll borrow it from you." And then Batman wins as he pulls out a Bat credit card. It's not just a credit card; it's a Bat credit card. It's a Batman credit card. And he says, "I never leave the house without it." So I guess in the '89 Batman, that means that the guy was right to ask to check his wallet. But anyway, Freeze shows up. Freeze gets what he wants. Gets captured after a chase happens. And you don't even see how Batman catches him. Basically, there's a part during the chase where Batman tries to stop Robin from going, and Robin doesn't want to. Basically, it's a bunch of manufactured stupid drama that could be easily avoided between them to cause problems. So, good old Batman almost kills Robin, mind you, because there's a fuck ton of statues in Gotham of men, just muscular men, and they hold up bridges and stuff, which are really high up, and if Robin fell from that height, he would die. I mean, as I mentioned, he has got a cape, so he's got a Batman type cape, so it'll be fine. And then Batman stops Mr. Freeze. He goes to Arkham, a special cell, so that he'll be able to live. Ivy thinks that he's a god. I'm not joking. She says that's not a man, that's a god. So Ivy, after this, goes and finds a place where there's a bunch of neon painted guys. Yet again, so much fucking neon. But anyway, she lets Bane beat them up. They've got fucking neon chains, like green neon chains, which, like, what's the point? Apparently they're called the Painted Gang, which is so fucking stupid. They basically say that they're going to eat them, but Bane beats them up, and then he goes on a good old roid rage around the place, as Poison Ivy's not very happy with the way it looks. She wants it to be more natural, and she gets what she wants when she puts a bunch of seeds in the ground, and then these really bad looking effect, like the effects for this look really bad when all these plants just rise up. And then Alfred sends a message to his brother, who's also a butler in Asia. So I'm guessing all of the Pennyworths are butlers, which, okay, it's not like he did any military service or anything in the comics, but okay. Anyway, so after this, good old Barbara is discovered by Dick that she does bike racing, because she sneaks off at night, and he saves her from almost dying, as a guy in his group have sabotaged a bridge. She almost falls to her death. Anyway, after that, Ivy and Bane break Mr. Freeze out of Arkham. They escape, and Mr. Freeze, his suit is low on power, so he needs to go and get diamonds from his base, where all of the police, Commissioner Gordon, the police are, and Batman and Robin are there, and they make a plan. Poison Ivy's going to save Freeze's wife, and Freeze is going to get the diamonds, and it's got to be a good old time. But so Mr. Freeze gets the diamonds, and Poison Ivy just unplugs Nora, because, you know, she fancies Mr. Freeze. And Mr. Freeze, after getting his diamonds, Batman and Robin have to save the... Actually, the Commissioner saves the police, because he turns off the heaters so that they freeze, and their lungs almost freeze. But Commissioner Gordon manages to flick the switch, and he does something of actual use. Yeah. So they head back to Ivy's lair. Ivy tells Freeze that Batman pulled the plug on Nora, and that he tried to save her. And Mr. Freeze goes from, "I want to hold the city at ransom," to "I want to kill everyone on the planet by freezing them to death." And then Ivy is like, "Well, once you do that, then I'll plant these hybrid plants that I have, and we'll rule the world." And he's like, "Oh yeah, like Adam and Eve." He just sat there like, he got over that really quick. Like, his wife was to him dead. And, he loves her so much that he risks his life for her. And, he's just immediately like, yeah, fuck that bitch, I'm with you, Poison Ivy. But, nah. So, after this, Alfred is discovered to be sick with McGregor syndrome. Dun dun dun. That thing that Nora has. Turns out that Freeze has managed to figure out how to cure early symptoms, which Alfred is in stage 1, and Mr. Freeze knows how to cure stage 1. So, anyway, Freeze attacks the observatory, and Ivy creates a Robin signal because in the base bit, there's a part where Poison Ivy and Bane take on Batman and Robin, and she tries to kiss one of them to kill them, as the other one fights Bane. And it ends with Robin getting covered in mint choc chip. Yeah. So he's just screaming at Batman while he's covered in fucking green ice cream. But yeah. So after this, Robin goes to her, and Barbara finds the Batcave, and Alfred had made her a suit already, because he'd figured that he basically uploaded his consciousness and created a fake Alfred to help her out. Anyway, so this happens, and Batman and Robin get Poison Ivy to tell them the plan before she kisses Robin, but it turns out he's got plastic covers so that the poison won't get her. The poison won't get him, and she gets pissy and tosses him into the pool of water that she has in front of her, and a bunch of vines wrap around him, and a bunch of vines wrap around Batman, and then Batgirl shows up. She beats the shit out of Poison Ivy. Poison Ivy converses to unplugging Nora, and then she beats up Batgirl, and Batgirl beats up Poison Ivy. Why did I say that? But yeah, Poison Ivy loses, and Batgirl basically mentions about using your looks as a bad thing. But yeah, Batman ends up mentioning that being called Batgirl isn't very PC, but whatever. Doesn't matter. I mean, she calls herself Batgirl, so Batman should really keep his mouth shut. But yeah, so they go to the observatory where Mr. Freeze and Bane are, and Batman takes on Mr. Freeze. Mr. Freeze freezes some of the city, and Batman takes him on. There's an annoying couple of scientists who act like Mr. Freeze taking over the observatory and turning it into a freeze gun is just another Tuesday, which isn't the case in the slightest. But yeah, so they beat them. Batman beats Mr. Freeze, and Robin and Batgirl beat Bane, and everyone's fine. Turns out Nora's not dead. Bruce says, Batman tells Mr. Freeze, hey, I can cut you a deal. He shows Mr. Freeze the confession from Poison Ivy that she unplugged Nora. And Mr. Freeze is all like, oh no, I feel bad for teaming up with her now. And Batman basically makes a deal that he goes back to Arkham and he can continue his research, and all that he wants is how to reverse the early stages, and Mr. Freeze gives him two vials from his arm, and this is probably like the only joke that I like, which Batman says doctor, and then Mr. Freeze gives him these two vials and he says take these and call me in the morning. That's about the only joke from this film that I actually enjoy. Anyway, I also forgot to mention that they say there's no time to lose after they've dealt with Poison Ivy, but they have enough time to have a costume change and get some different vehicles to go and deal with Mr. Freeze. So, yeah. So the deal is done, and they cure Alfred, and then it ends the same way that Forever did, but instead of it just being Batman and Robin running at the screen, it's also there's Batgirl as well, and that's it over. End of film. Thank fuck for that. Thankfully it's ended. So this film wasn't that good. You can probably tell from the way that I'm speaking and trying to rush it that I don't like it very much. And yeah, I actually give this, as I said, 3 out of 10. Give it 3 out of 10. So I'm trying to think. I can't even think of a unit. I can't think of a unit. You know what? Oh yeah, I did. Sorry, I'm forgetting. 3 out of 10 big diamonds. There we go. And that's why 3 out of 10 big diamonds, because it's Mr. Freeze's power source. It's also what he uses to freeze the world, and Batman also fixes it by using the sun. So, yeah, that's that over. The next time that we'd see Batman on the big screen would be 2005, with Batman Begins. And it's so much better than this. Holy fuck, it's so much better. Well, I hope you enjoyed this. If you did, leave a like. If you didn't, do what you do. And if you want to help me out, why not the subscribe button? And I'll hopefully see you next time. And if you want notifications, you got to hit the bell, because that's a thing. And as I said, hopefully see you next time, and goodbye.